And, I preach a week and leave out the revival $125.
Woo.
Yeah. Brother Kelly, I preached a revival one time. You know what they gave me? Groceries.
I get it.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Went on home with the groceries.
Yeah.
I was in revival one time. They called me before I got there. Said, we ain't got no people here. So can we push it till next week? So I went, and that following week, and it wasn't that many people. I preached, and I preached Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The place was full. The people started bringing their children. They started inviting their grown sons and daughters. And the Lord would always show me something. If I did what He told me to do, He would make the way.
Y'all, welcome back to the CVMK Show. It is the best podcast on the planet. Why? Because I'm the best podcast host and I get the best podcast guests. And today we have a superb, phenomenal, superlative, whatever type of adjective you want to describe to this man of God that's going to be on our show. He's a guest. Look up to this individual. I really do. Super honored to have him. Like sometimes when people say yes, you're like, oh, wow, they said yes. And then you kind of think like, oh, man, this is, the episode that I need to be. Wow. So, I'm super excited. It's the one, the only, the Bishop Eugene Fears of the Illinois Southwest jurisdiction. So we're going to go there, man. We're going to get into his life, what his ministry means so far, all the above, guys. But if you want to keep seeing leaders like we have on a day, you know what you got to go. You got to go to YouTube, one word, 4 letters. So there's two channels now, guys. We're diversifying, we're growing. For the podcast, for the CVMK world, it's just YouTube at CVMK. Very simple, 4 letters, 1 word, right? Just for the fitness, because CVMK Global is his own entity, his own brand and just division. It's CVMK Global. You know what I'm saying, right? But I want y'all to follow us on all social media, y'all, at the CVMK. It's really the CV_CVMK_ show. On Instagram, on Meta, TikTok is the.CVMK.show, right? It's kind of the same pattern. You'll see the same logo, same bear. And where all the supplements are, y'all, I have with me today, it's our number 1 protein. This is coming out the gates hot. It's our cinnamon swirl protein. I need you to get it, guys. It's that time. I don't have the suit jacket on. You know why? Because it's 60 degrees in February. It makes no sense, but that's climate change. And to get to that point, it's all about putting the right stuff in, right? You are what you eat. So I need you to go to www.cvmkglobal.store. Get all your supplements, your pre-workouts, your creatines, your BCAAs, your test boosters, all of it. And we're coming out with a new product line. It's getting exciting. And the apparel. I need y'all to go to www.cvmkglobal.store where it goes down. Use code. I'm going to give you a new code. This is just because Bishop Fears is on here. Use code STACKED. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it on here because it's 38% off. That's a huge reduction in price. But I need y'all to use code STACKED, STACKED, 38%. When we come back, we have the one, the only Bishop Fears after this.
Welcome to the CVMK Show. It's not just a podcast, it's leadershiptainment. Subscribe now on YouTube at CVMK.
And he know it. Oh, yeah. The devil is in trouble, and he know it. It ain't like he don't know he in trouble. And the doctor looked at me. He said, I like that. And then he said, do you drink? I said, no. Do you smoke? I said, no. Do you use street drugs? I said, no. He said, oh, of course not. That's why the devil's in trouble. I said, yeah, he's in trouble. Oh, yeah, the devil is in trouble. And even as Bishop Marshall was saying, that Job 14:1 says, man born of a woman is of a few days and full of trouble. When you deal with the word trouble, one particular definition of it that really blessed me was trouble means to tremble. I said, oh, that's the trouble he in. Because the Bible says the devils also believed and trembled. They didn't get saved. They didn't repent. Now, in the sense, if they so afraid and know what God can do, if they tremble, how come they don't try to make a change? change. And the reason is the devil don't have no hope. He don't have no second chance. He don't have another hope. He don't get another opportunity. He don't get to be like Samson, let his hair grow again. He don't be like David and tell God, purge me with hyssop and make me clean. He don't get to be like Jeremiah that said, Lord, forgive me and bring me back. He don't get.
Let me read his bio so I can capture this correctly, so you know who we have on here. Bishop Eugene Fears Jr., the shepherd of Redeem Enrichment Ministries, REM, has taken his power-packed ministry of exhortation, salvation, and faith across the country, crossing denominational, social, and economic backgrounds with the light of the gospel. Celebrating more than 50 years in ministry, Bishop Fears is continually kingdom-driven, cultivating his part of the vineyard as a visionary. He is the establishmentarian and jurisdictional prelate of the Illinois Southwest Ecclesiastical jurisdiction of COGIC Incorporated, covering foreign leader ministries and churches across the Midwest, positioning to advance a Christ-centered agenda, building leaders and serving God's people. He's a builder. He's completing phase 1 of Redeem's Building for the Future Now project, which includes a 550-seat sanctuary and campus ministry facilities. He's a shepherd, cultivating ministries through REM, meeting the spiritual, mental, economic, and physical health of God's people. A preacher's preacher with a wealth of wisdom, Bishop Fears endeavors to pour into established and emerging leaders to empower, edify, and enrich them in their drive toward purpose. Bishop Fears has been married to missionary Deborah Fears more than 48 years. The couple has 5 children. With that being said, CVMK Tribe and Family, help me welcome Bishop Eugene Fears. Bishop Fears, how you doing today, man?
Doing good, sir. Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
I am honored to have you, man. I gotta give credit to where credit is due. Super excited, right? Like sometimes you come, every episode I'm excited for. It's a new challenge, it's a new guest. The prep is different. Try to familiarize myself, with who they are, what they are. I didn't really have to familiarize myself with you. I feel like I had a good grasp. I was like, look, if I could just get them on here, I think it'd go far. But super excited about this, man. So it's 2026, Bishop Fears, right? Ministry is interesting. And as a leader, right, you have to deal with the challenges of society, right? The gospel doesn't sit in this standalone place, right? What has that been like during all? And I know this load is very general, but let's take specifically, right? Like I saw, I was watching the town hall earlier of Governor Westmore, and if there was a reoccurring theme, it was the rising cost of living, right? Like something that is more than everything. Like as a ministry leader, how do you shepherd your congregation when it comes to that challenge?
Oh, yeah. Listen, the day that we live in, times change. Times will change. And as things go up, cost of living goes up. And you have to realize, we can tell the people that you pastor and those that come, of course, we tell them as far as cost of living, God will certainly take care of you. He'll make the way. Those are the things that we're supposed to say, and the things that should say because it's the truth to say. But then you have people, sometimes people come, they don't have, they're struggling. Things have happened. They lose jobs, things go higher, prices go up, and things the cost of living increases, and they don't have. So we have to steady pour into people that there is a way that God will get you through it. Let me say this, Brother Kelly, let me say this. The changing of times, the changing of generations, how things go, how things do, we must understand my foundational work never changes, and that's rooted in God's word. But God's word is always goes across all generations. Whatever happens, whatever's going on, you focus And you focus on that. And really it's because that when we folk love the Lord and God loves people, and we tell him he's going to take care of you, and cost of living is going up and the Lord will do it, and then God does it. But it always has to be a way of telling people that you cannot give up hope. You can't release yourself. You can't stop thinking. You can't stop driving. That things will happen. Things will change. And you dig in. And sometimes I think people, Brother Kelly, lose their focus because they allow themselves to look at other people, what they're doing. And if they look like they're making it and the cost of living is not affecting them, then they turn to themselves and say, why me? But we must always know we never know another person's story personally and what they're dealing with and what they're going through. The cost of living, you know what? It increases. It gets higher. It goes in certain things. And so many things are happening now. The church is being affected because you're in church, you still feel the effects of high prices, high food prices, and, gas fluctuating up and down. Things are going on. I mean, it's just, it doesn't matter. You can shout on Sunday, but Monday when you go to make groceries, those prices are high. When you go to do things, everything is going up. The cost of living is going up. And a lot of times you're not getting no pay raises. You're not getting your money or your pay, however your financial backing is for you to continue doing. It does not all time meet what's happening because things are elevated. And so I really tell people, listen, if you continue on to do what you can, as well as you can, and don't drain yourself mentally because it don't look like things are getting met. Well, I always have to bring the Lord in, not to sit down and just say, well, the Lord going to help me. That ain't the case. I mean, the Lord, you do what you can do.
Right.
And God always handles and take care of what has to be taken care of. Then I tell people, look around. The cost of living has went up, but you're still here. You're still getting things done. It's not over yet. Don't you tell yourself it's not going to work. I'm not going to make it. You always keep yourself in a place of hope it will happen, and keep going and knowing what you're doing, because this is the day that we live in. And then too, let me say this, Brother Kelly, we'll move on.
Sure.
Things we got to remember, we're just here now, 2026. But if you know anything on history going back in the days, even before I got here, there's always has a time when there's a struggle with the cost of high living. And so you have folks go through, you can go back, way back, go back to the Depression era, when it hits 30. But right before the Depression era, they had a age called the Gilded Age.
Yeah.
And the Gilded Age was taken after because there was like a gilded paint that would cover look like gold. If you move it off underneath, it wasn't no gold. It just made it look like gold. And there was a gilded area where folk were just going the roaring 20s and all this type of stuff was happening. And things, after a while, things started to change. Then when they found out that it wasn't as what they thought it was, they moved in depression. The point I want to make is folk that was in that depression era and had money began to commit suicide and give things up because the cost of living had driven them to this place that they think they wasn't going to make it. But I'm here to tell everybody today, it can get tough, it can get hard, but never think you're not going to make it. Never think that it's over. Things will happen. The increase will come. And you can't change things until they change. You can't change things until they change. I can certainly, listen, I've been around here for a while now. When I started driving my first car, Brother Kelly, and I got me some gas on my own, it was 55 cents a gallon. 55 cents a gallon. And then when things looked like the gas got tough, folks was lined up in line but it was 55 cents a gallon. Now when I pull up to the gas station, I don't sit there in the car saying, oh man, gas went up. What I'm gonna do? No, I knew it was going up. Cost of living steady rising.
Yeah.
And I want a steady drive. I got to pull into that gas station and get that gas, whatever the cost is. And so What I say is God meets every need in every situation. Cost of living increases, and God will increase the favor for you and all of us. And these are how I feel about things as they go.
I like that. When things change, God will adapt and make you prosper in the midst of it. And I think you really hit it on the head. That evolution that has happened, and this is where I really want to unpack kind of your story. When we think about the effectiveness of the pulpit, right? What do you think is the biggest challenge to the gospel today?
I think the biggest challenge is because it's so many other, let me say, venues or stages, or without maybe I don't know. I was preaching in Wisconsin, and I was sitting there, and when it just started happening, Facebook had just started coming. And I was sitting there, and the Lord told me that we were going to have to be able to deal with what's going on with Facebook. We got to be able to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because and different things and those types of venues, and the steady turnover, things are steady going on, as you well know. And we got to be able to never adjust the truth. Don't adjust the gospel. It remains the same. But we have to make an adjustment what we see and how we do as we go. Now there's so many more, like I say, people in venues and different things, and people are saying things. I know I've seen so many ministries, instead of trying to focus in on the people, they are at war with each other. I mean, it's just, get on there and they're talking about each other and warring, and then there's some folks, they're not really being truthful, and some folks making up stuff. We got to be able to get through all of this and tell the people, have them focus in on what really matters. What really matters. And if you know what's happening within yourself and your family and your ministry, you know what's going on. I don't care who's talking on the outside. You know what's happening on the inside of where you are. And the grounding of it is the truth, the encourage. I minister to people and talk and go on. And I know that let me go back. Let me bring this back to you.
Yeah, go back.
When I was coming up in the church, being Church of God in Christ, that's my parents there raised up. And so I was, years ago, had my pastor was Pastor Alonzo Templeton, still was Northern, but years ago, and I got the date in the late 60s. Matter of fact, I know exactly when it was, like 1967. In the church, we wanted to grow what they called afros. The young men wanted to grow naturals. We didn't want our haircut. We wanted to, and the church was like, what? No. And they went on us, it's a shame for a man to have long hair. I mean, it was gone. And we couldn't, but I got here, me and some other young brothers, we started growing naturals or afros. And so it got so that the ministers, they were older than us, they was telling, and some of the missionaries was telling the pastor, no, they don't need, you can't be doing this. And so it kept going back until they couldn't really focus in on a message. They was focusing on what they was looking at us do. And when you focus in on what you see folk do all the time, sometimes it brings a rebellion within them and not an acceptance of the truth that you're giving them. That's why you got to be careful when you deal with people and when a change is coming. What Elder Templeton did, and I mean to this day, I still think on it and use it. He called us to the office, called me and then some of the young brothers, called the older ministers who was whooping on us about that, having that. He said, now listen, what I want y'all to do, you're going to have these naturals. He said, taper it off around the ears. Taper it off around the ears. grow it. Don't let it grow down over your ears. Taper it.
Yeah.
Get it, have it looking good and taper it off. And, I thought to myself, I can work with that. He didn't give me an option. What you doing? Taper it off. So I get a line. I line my hand anyway. Okay. When he got done, I left out the pastor's office like I hadn't gotten no spiritual whooping. But that man took and covered me.
Yeah.
And I went on and we did that, and all of it quieted down with no more. We got to know in the day we live, because things change. But like I said, the foundation, the truth, and how you handle it, how you talk to people.
Yeah.
You got to know how to address people and talk to people. Now, some folk, they don't want to hit nothing no way. So
True.
You got to realize everybody ain't going to leave and cross Jordan, go over with you to the promised land. Some folks say they ain't going. So, but you have to continue to do it, know, because things change. Things is not the same. Things change. How things go, people see.
Yeah.
It's just a changing of things. I don't want to get caught in the change of what's happening.
Right.
I just want to be able to, there's a change. I want to be able to work with the people and see a change come within them. One more thing, let me throw this in here.
Sure.
Got me talking now. Years ago, we started. Young men came in, they had earrings in their ear.
Yeah.
They came in with the earring, And back when a few years ago, like, what? And so one of the brothers came to me and said, listen, I'm going to tell them, take them earrings off. I said, wait a minute, let me tell you, do this. I said, don't you put one in your ear. Let him see how we're doing.
Yeah.
Let them see our culture here. And if they're going to stay with us, after a while, you're going to impact them to where they say, well, I'm going. If you don't see them at school, if you don't see them at work, when they come to the church, say, you know what? Let me take this out, because ain't none of them up in there got it. And ain't nobody saying anything about it. You got to learn how to focus on folks. You can't jump on people.
Right.
We just in a different day than what we was when I was coming up. Things change. You got to be able to change. You got to be able to change what's on the outside, never compromising the truth or the gospel of Jesus Christ. And that's where we stand when we minister from that pulpit.
I love it. Speaking of things change, and before we get into kind of your life and the ministry aspect of it, I had a amazing conversation last night. My younger cousin, Dr. Luke, was in town, and my auntie's birthday is in a couple of days, so we're kind of there celebrating. And we were, as we do as a family, just discussing the challenges of ministry, right? And to Luke's point, and I brought this up, and we talked about, my aunt asked us, how come your generation, specifically millennials and younger, are not there in mass amounts? Like, how come you guys don't like to just be there? And there's a lot of reasons. I think one of the challenges is because life is so demanding, you have to spend so much time in creating an economic base to support marriage and partnership, so that you can be actively, involved in a faith community. And then Luke says, yeah, that's right, because a lot of us just aren't married, So I think, and I know Valentine's Day has just passed, I think one of the biggest elephants in the room, right, in the kingdom, is that people aren't getting married. And it's almost like there's no desire. And I've always said, that's kind of the antithesis of our faith, because you can't get to Acts without Genesis, right? Like, hey, you got to start with the family to get to the cross. So for you, what has been some of the nuances, you talk about these changes, that you tried to do to get people to fall and to stay in love, for that matter?
Right. Well, I mean, it's a whole thing. First of all, there's not as many marriages happening. I'm talking about in the church. All right.
Yeah.
And of course, we can use the one that it ain't that many men that's in the church, things of that nature. And then they have more opportunities, one scripture tells us that the scripture said there'll be 7 women clinging to one man.
Isaiah the 4th chapter. Yeah.
Just let us wear your name, you know, and just let us wear your name.
Yeah.
And so what you see these types of things, you know, but a lot of times folk, when you get married, it's going to be a challenge there to get to be where you grow together. It's going to be a challenge. And let me jump back and say this. And I had to tell somebody this because they kept coming. I had to tell them, this is what I told them, Brother Kelly. The mindset is some people don't get married. You may be one of them, you know, and when I say that, not of your own choosing, you know, and if it don't happen, now, what is your option? If it don't happen, you know, you're going to leave the Lord, leave God, and just a whole lot of things take place. But we live in the day now where it's so much out there. It's so many options.
Yeah.
And then, too, when marriage happens, it used to be a time when they said, look, let's work this out. Let's talk. Let's counsel. But now folk come in with the mindset already. I didn't come to counsel. I come to inform you that it's over.
It's done.
You know, hey, wait a minute. You know, and that's how a lot of things happen. But I stand that marriage is the place to be. That man and that woman, they can be married. You don't trade in who you are, because the people that come together, they get married, they get you, and they come together for who you are. You know, you come, and that's as you grow, and you locked in. You know, and some people they just don't have. I found out also, everybody say I'm a quart. You can put a quart in me. You come to find out when you do it, you a quart, but they like a pint. And y'all ain't got married. They can't handle everything that the other one handles. So the quart has to continuously keep the pint full. So sometimes you end up giving more of yourself in the marriage than both given equally together. And then when you can do that and find that out, it's sometimes that happens. And sometimes it's the growth.
Yeah.
It's the growth. And you have to really grow together. You know, and the bottom line is you got to love each other. You got to love, and love, whether you want to go and philos, agape, brotherly, how you want to do it. Love always, I don't care whichever one you come up, it gives. Yeah. Love cannot be centered anywhere, and it don't give. So then, you know, for God so loved the world, St. John 3:16, he gave. He didn't take. He gave. Right? So when you love and love one another, you're going to have to be in a place where you give. You know, when you give, and then you don't take. But if both love is there, they're both giving of themselves and love. And then that should be a thing that's released into the family. That should be a thing that's released into one another. And we don't have, the church ain't like it was. You know, even when you was coming up, you went to church. You were like, hey, y'all, we going to church. Get ready, we going to church.
Yeah.
You know, when I was coming up, I'd be outside. Hey, all I know is, this Tuesday night. I got to get out of here. We going to church. Other folks still out there messing around. I'm going to church. You know, but now it's not like that. I still think there's so many options. And you know, you can tell it from when COVID hit us. We still ain't got straight from COVID yet.
No, we haven't.
So when folks are thinking, hey, COVID going on, I'm going to be teaching from the house. I'm going to be, join me on Facebook. Folk have gotten comfortable, and they say, well, you know what? Things have changed and haven't went back the way it used to be. You know, it just, and you have to make an adjustment as a leader, faith-based, or else, it ain't gonna bode well with you. But you got to make that adjustment. Ministry is about being able to adjust. Life is about a series of adjustments. But you got to be committed to being an adjuster as well as an adjustee in relationships, church, marriage, family, because you're going to have to. When folk don't make no adjustments, folk don't give in, when folk just don't want to do nothing, they're going to have a tough time. They're going to have a tough time. The only friend they'll have is loneliness and anger and things that don't, and their addition is off. It don't add up. 1 and 1 ain't 2 no more.
Yeah.
It don't take 1 and 1 to be 2 to them. Just take 1 to be 2, 3, 4, 5, multiply. But that ain't the way things work.
No, well said. Look, we're gonna take a quick break. When we return, we're gonna get really into the life and the ministry of Bishop Fears, because I wanna bring it back to the beginning. We know where you are right now, but there has been obviously a process to that, and so we're gonna talk about it after this quick break.
There's a hero in all of us waiting to be unleashed. All it takes is just that one last push. Activate the hero within with CVMK Global Supplements. All natural, steroid free, designed to enhance performance, build muscle, and increase energy. You are unstoppable. You can do this. Become your own hero at www.cvmkglobal.store.
Y'all know what it is. Got the Central Protein. I have my other protein canisters actually right by me. I want y'all to get the body you deserve, right? The Bible says that Jesus come that you might have life, and that more abundantly. I want to get you to that point. I want to help you get to that point by putting the right things in your system, having an active lifestyle, having the body that you deserve to have. And it starts with first having an amazing, trusted company that puts out amazing supplements. www.cvmkglobal.store. For men, for women, adults, it's there for you. Optimize your nutrition today. Optimize your health today. It's on the website. Just put in the search bar. www.cvmkglobal.store. All right. So you are now a prince of the church. I think that's the official category. I think in our black book, what is titled, right? You are now a bishop, and I wonder, when you look back, right, like, and you assess things, did you ever see yourself getting here?
No, not really. Because there wasn't a focus of mine. I was just in church, just in church doing, and just going on, and really, then there are certain things that start taking place in your life. You still don't. When I was called to preach, still wasn't okay. The Lord called me to preach.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna preach and to go on, and thank God for those pastors that allowed me to exercise the gift as a younger preacher, and so I went on, and then things started going on, and because when I was coming up, and we my pastor, you would have this, and let me say this, Brother Keller, the timing of God.
Yeah.
The timing of God. I keep telling people, our timing is not God's time, and He don't operate the timing that He has to make sure it locks in with what we're thinking. But God always makes a move. He's doing things. Already know what's happening. Already everything's gonna go down. Everything, God knows all things. And you never know why things are happening, but God always has this particular plan, because He knows the thoughts that He thinks towards you. And so we are going. And as I went on, I, preaching, and then I didn't know I was preaching, and people began to call me Evangelist Fears. I never told nobody God called me to be an evangelist. And they just called me Evangelist Fears, called me to run revivals, and then after a while I'm thinking like, so, when I went and got me one of those cards made up, and I put on there Evangelist Eugene Fears, because you had to have a card back then, but then I would get a card, give them a card, and I was evangelizing and what's going on and evangelizing. Then I got called a full-time evangelism. Now, and it ain't, full-time, it was the Lord. Because I was a working man. I worked, had a wife, had family, children. And the Lord called me to full-time evangelism. And all I did was preach. And look, offerings you wasn't getting no big time offerings. Like then, I preach a week and leave out the revival $125.
Woo!
Yeah. Brother Kelly, I preached a revival one time. You know what they gave me? Groceries.
I get it.
No, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Went on home with the groceries.
Yeah.
I was in revival one time. They called me before I got there. Said, we ain't got no people here. So can we push it till next week? So I went, and that following week, and it wasn't that many people. I preached, and I preached Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The place was full. The people started bringing their children. They started inviting their grown sons and daughters, and the Lord would always show me something. If I did what he told me to do, he would make the way. And, people that's outside, Brother Kelly, people don't look. They don't, that ain't the Lord. Folks is quick to tell you it ain't the Lord. They'll tell you it ain't the Lord so fast, because you're not doing what they think you ought to do.
Yeah.
But when you know it's the Lord, let me stop here, jump up to right now. I'm coming back real quickly. Maybe about, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever it was, I was praying, and I'm thinking, I've been praying a long time now. I'm praying now, the Lord, because I'm showing up praying, and I was telling the Lord, give me some direction. You brought me this far, I need some direction. I need to know what to do. And then I started telling the Lord, you said you'll order my steps. Order my steps. I'm praying, order my steps. And I prayed, and then when I got done, brother preacher, listen, let me tell you this. When I got done, the Lord spoke to me quickly. And the last thing I told him, Lord, order my steps. When I got up off my knees, this is what the Lord told me. He said, I can't order your steps if you don't take none. I said, I thought to myself, all right. And what he had told me, I want you to go forward. But I wouldn't go because I want him to tell me A, B, C, D, E. And then the Lord said, I can't order them if you don't take them. I started taking steps in faith. And God started ordering my steps. And you at a place, because sometimes you be at a place you didn't even think you would be there. That's what am I doing here? But the Lord is giving direction. So I went on, and I came through preaching, and I was evangelizing. I got ordained in the church, and I kept on going, and I said, and after a while, things began to the Lord just began to, I took over church, became a pastor, and just kept on going. And I can't get around my talking about my life when I get to this point, because I got to always call his name, the Bishop Cody Vernon Marshall. He was my mentor as a pastor. And you know, some folks think mentorship, somebody got to always be gabbing at you. But you got to learn how to watch and look and focus.
Yeah.
You know, behold the upright. Behold that man, end of his peace, and listen to what's being said. You know, it's to this day right now. It's some things that Bishop Marshall told me. I think on them. I think on them. And those words are just alive now as it was when he was here. You know, and some more pastors and leaders poured into me that I hold on to it. But you just don't never know. But if you keep going, and everything ain't just like, you know, you're going to have some bumps, some ups and downs. You're going to have some disappointments. You're going to have some places, I thought you told me to do this. Why is this? But we got to understand when the Lord gives you some direction, that don't mean you ain't going to run into some things, because he know what he put in you. He know what's in you more than what you know that's in you. And when those things happen, the thing he put way down in you that you ain't even used yet. Yeah. It's going to come up, and you're going to be wondering, Jeremiah ain't know he had no fire in him set up like bones. He was down there with them folk, you know, they weren't listening to him preaching. The Lord had left him down. He said, forget it. And the Lord said, I already know you cry a lot. You weep. Yeah. You cry. But I got something down in you that you ain't touched yet. And when he said he was done, the Bible said he could not stay.
Couldn't say, yeah.
Because it was fire shut up, not being able to go out. Yeah. And pick up some other thing, go to burn it out. It was burning within. So that's how I got to going and never thought. I mean, I just never thought until times later. I thought, you know what, something might happen, you know, but I never moved on my own. The Lord spoke to me. And some things you tell folks the Lord told you, they don't believe. Some folks don't believe to this day the Lord told me to go to the work he's called me to. They just don't believe. They believe something I was upset, angry, or whatever they was thinking. I wasn't thinking of that. I ain't gonna get so caught up in myself. I'm gonna move and the Lord ain't saying nothing to me. I'm gonna keep going what I'm doing, make my adjustment, and work till the day is done. I love it. But the Lord spoke to me, and I know he did, and I did it correctly.
Bishop, to that point, you bring up knowing that the Lord spoke to you. You know, you shared a story of a running revival, and they gave you groceries. Mm-hmm. You know, like as a husband, right? Like beyond the preaching, you know, as a man, as a husband, how did that conversation go? Like, how did you look Mother Fears in the eyes and say, "This is all I have"?
Because Mother Fears knew me and I knew her. We were together. Yeah. You know, she knew I wouldn't be out here trying to be something that God didn't tell me to be. So I met my wife, I was working, job, and the Lord spoke to me. And we stood together. She supported me. I mean, and to this day, she still supports me. You know, and every time God give me something to do, I do it. I support her. Whatever change, whatever's happening, I'm going to support. And what happens is, after a while, you realize, you know what? God really does speak to this man. You know, because God shows what he's doing. God shows what he's doing. You know, and I wasn't going to be out there, my family, and well, the Lord told me, but we ain't got nothing to eat. We ain't got nothing. What I did, I told the Lord, my wife wanted to work. I said, no, I don't want her to work, and I'm full time. What's that going to look like? I talked to the Lord. My wife wanted to work. And I said, well, my wife, because she had a passion for the things she was doing. I said, well, if she works, I told the Lord, Brother Kelly, I said, I don't never want my wife to make more money than me. If you call me full time, I don't ever want that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It never happened. I was able to bring in more than what she was from a job, and the Lord blessed me. I came home with them groceries. I came home with a bag of groceries. Well, and she didn't say, what is this? What? We came home, we laughed about it. I said, look at here. I got a bag full of groceries.
Yeah.
And laughed about it. And you realize, and I'm gonna tell you something. I went to church. I was with Ella Evans, my pastor, Melvin Evans, my brother-in-law, and so I went on to church. And we were sitting in church, and I was sitting there on a Friday night, and he got out and he said, "I don't know what Ella Fears is doing next week, but I want to have a revival. Ella Fears, you free to run it?" I'm thinking to myself, look at God. Look at God. I'm thinking to myself, am I free to run it? And I ended up running a revival and was blessed. And the money, I had the money and the groceries. I'm blessed. It's the Lord. You'll be challenged in what God give you to do. Not to break you, not to make you give up, but fashioning you with what he's made you to be and called you to be.
Yeah.
And it's things outside is going to happen. You can't control everything, and those things make you better. It just does. And you got to use what God has given you. And the Lord, it's just, I mean, and the longer I go, the more that word, the more God shows up. I'm just saying, look at God. I ain't never stopped. He keep doing things for me. But you got to do them right. You got to do the things right, how God has called you. You got to be godly minded and do as the Lord told you to do. And that's all I've been doing, Brother Kelly, just doing what the Lord has told me to do. I took a church, and when I finally became a pastor, took a church after evangelizing and redeemed. That's why I'm pastoring right now. 2 Sundays ago, I was sitting there before they put me up to preach and put a screen up. The screen was up. And I was like, what is they doing? They got up, Ella Maurice got up and said, 34 years ago, today, this date, Bishop Marshall installed Pastor Fears as the pastor of Redeemed. I didn't even know. 34 years. I said, what? It got me so bad, it looked like some tears welled up in my eyes. And they got me. And I realized how good God has been and what the Lord has done. And he wasn't done yet. Things happen. But God has a way of allowing things to happen to make you what he wants you to be. And it is going to happen. It's a guarantee. Because God is he can't let you in on everything.
Yeah.
I keep telling people, God ain't gonna let you on everything he get ready to do for you. He's not going to do it.
Yeah.
He's not going to do it. Daniel went in the den of lions. Daniel was down there. And you know what? Daniel prayed so and kept talking to the Lord. He wants to know everything. And God told Daniel, close the book. Go ahead, just close the book. I ain't telling you nothing else. Because there's some things going down you ain't got to know. So God don't tell us every single thing. But I tell you one thing, the things that we have been through and he has told us have prepared us to deal with the next thing that's coming. And so here I am. Right? Here I am.
I love that. I got a couple more minutes left. I got a couple more questions I want to get to. I know take take a break, but I want to talk about your vision, particularly because you're in this season. What does that mean? And I'm gonna share a story. You had me thinking of my grandfather. So I'm gonna take a break. We're gonna, pay some bills, and then I'll be back with my question.
Why are we still drinking boring protein? Sensual protein is not your average shake. It's bold cinnamon flavor, real muscle fueling power, and zero bland energy. Every sip hits different. It actually makes you want to stay consistent. If you're done settling for basic nutrition, this is your upgrade. Built by CVMK Global, a brand that moves with intensity and vision. Follow CVMK Global on Instagram and CVMK Globe on TikTok and unleash your inner beast.
Oh, that's the one, the only Candace Hampton Fudge out of, I want to say South Carolina. Get it today. www.cmk.store. Essential protein. I'm telling you, it's amazing. It smells amazing. It tastes like a honey bun. You will like it. Get it today. www.cvmkglobal.store. All right. So my grandfather was, last couple years of his life, I got a chance to really ask him questions. I mean, like ask, right? Like I'm finishing up, and I'll share this. So I'm finishing up a book about him. It's not really about him, but I took his life and added a lot of exaggeration and color to it because I wanted to create something different, because I think you have to tell a story. Not that his life wasn't interesting enough. I just didn't want it to feel sermonic, right? So I added a lot of character development and whatnot. But I asked him, I said, has God revealed anything to you about me? Right? Because I've always felt different in this space, right? I've always felt like, like my ministry's, I've never saw myself as, pastoring or even preaching. That's still new to me. Like, usually when I have to preach, like that's still like, but even the style of it, like it's just different. Like for whatever reason, I can't, emulate or replicate what I'm used to.
That's right.
But I'm good in this, right? And he says this to me. He says, I fasted for you, and the Lord told me you're gonna be okay. That's the most, and I was mad. I was like, Papa, that doesn't tell me anything. I mean, Steph, he was like, but the way he phrased it has captivated me. Like throughout, particularly the last, I would say 10 years, like, and he's been gone now 8 years, but hearing that like consistently, like regardless of what's going on, like somehow this is in some plan that is, the Lord is orchestrating, that's above me, that is going to yield what I see. Because I would tell him, I said, man, I see my life just happening differently. Like I see myself in places differently. And, I don't have a blueprint for it. I just need to know how to, is this just me being crazy? Is this me being rebellious? Or is this really, something that is driving me that's beyond me? And he tells me it's going to be okay. Right. And so that has left me to just open to interpretation. Like, okay, I know God is in it because I have no clarity. So I want to ask you, when it comes to your vision, right? Now that you are seated and you have now you're shepherding shepherds and the reach, I really feel like the true sign of a leader is that God tells them something that only they themselves can hear. Right. They're not just motivated by it. They're almost haunted by it. Like it's this drive because it's uniquely theirs and they have to run this baton for your jurisdiction, for yourself, going into the future. What is that vision?
It's for what I see.
Yeah.
What God has me now.
Yeah.
And it's going. What I started to do is, like you said, to write a book about your grandfather, but you took your dramatic license.
Yeah.
To make it, Yeah. I said, becoming a bishop, I took that license of the culture where I'm at. You know, in a great jurisdiction. Northern was great. I don't care what nobody says, great, tremendous. But I got that. I cannot be a replica, but I can take what I took from there and the culture that God has given me and vision and insert in there, and to take these leaders that I have and pour into them. You know, I want every leader to know he's not a failure. I want every pastor to know, regardless of the size of his ministry, how many members he has, and what he don't have, that he is not a failure. If the Lord, God has given it to him, he's not a failure. He's not a failure. And everything is not revealed on day one. But what you need is, as you go, there's a path God's going to take you. It is one goal. I tell them, and I pour into them. I want them to be strengthened, to be encouraged. And I keep saying this, and I keep telling, never think and measure yourself beside somebody else. And say, you know, they got this and I don't have. They got this. How come? You cannot achieve what God wants you to do looking at somebody else's what they've done. And let me throw this in here while I'm talking, because David said, what he said, my foot was almost gone, my steps had slipped. When I seen the prosper of the wicked, he took his focus off of the Lord and started looking at what other folk were doing. And it almost messed him up. But he caught himself and said he went to the sanctuary, got with the Lord. And then when he came out, he understood their end. A lot of times we get caught up and looking at other folk and what they got. Nobody's here to judge in this vision that I have. I want what God has put in you. We want to get the best out, because you're going to have to pour in the people and do them. And what I have, what God has given me, and I didn't know he was giving me till I know I got it. That's why all the things that I have went through, all the things that I have in doing ministry, it has filled my vision cups that I'm allowed to continue to pour out of my experiences of the things that God has allowed me to go through. And if they take it, just like you telling folks about you are what you put in your body.
Yeah.
You take that spiritual vision and you can become this. This is going to help you. I want them to be strong. I want to have growth. We want to reach. Always souls is number one. Absolutely. That takes, but still, after we get souls in, they have to be built up. They have to have places they can go, things that they can do, and you have to continue to do it. And I tell these pastors, they're pastors. They're pastors. I'm not here to tell you what to preach at your church. I'm not here to tell you what time to have service. I ain't do what you've been doing, but this is what we need to focus on. And because we come together, God is going to allow us to do it. He's going to allow us to do it.
I love it.
And what other folk tell you, you got to remain focused. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go for it.
And your grandfather told me this, and we was on Champlain at the church, down in the fellowship hall, and some people, you know what they kept telling me? You preach too hard. You preach too hard. This was like an onslaught. You preach too hard. Think to myself, I couldn't. And I'm trying to tell you, I ain't here trying to preach. That ain't what I'm trying to do. It's just that Lord at that time, and then, and I was younger and all that stuff. And I kept going. I finally went to Bishop Marshall. I said, Bishop Marshall, they telling me, because the thing started to bother, they telling me I'm preaching too hard. And you know what he told me? He said, don't worry about preaching too hard. Age will slow you down. That's what he told me. You hear me? That's what he told me.
I believe it.
He said, age will slow you down. And preacher, I'm here to tell you right now, age
is gonna catch me one of these days, but today ain't that day.
No, you gotta keep going. But he told he ain't take me like he ain't let me sit down and talk to you.
Yeah.
He was standing up. He said, "Don't worry about it. Age just slowed you down." And I always keep that in my mind. You know, I always keep that in my mind. And like you said, he told you was gonna be okay. He didn't tell you all, well, this about boom, bum, bum. When he made me an administrative assistant, we was having a meeting at the headquarters, 6028. One of them, we was there, churching. Church was over. And then he sat down. He called me and called my wife. He said, "Come here." My wife came up in the pulpit. I was in there. And he said, "I'm going to make you an administrative assistant." And then the next thing, you know, I'm like, and you know what he told me? He said, "Just because." That was it. He ain't said because of what. Because he just said, "Just because you ought to be." And that was it. He paused. He said, "Just because," said, "you ought to be." He didn't tell me, like you got that okay? He didn't tell me what else the Lord had told him. He just said, "Just because." And I sat there, and me and my wife, and that was it. He was done. And now I think about that just because it wasn't time for me to hear it. One time for me to be told it. It wasn't time. Because if I'd have knew then, I'd have messed up something.
Yeah.
I'd have did something out of order. It wasn't time. And he knew it one time. He paused and stopped. And said, "Just because you ought to be." And I think about that. I said, He knew, but he wouldn't say nothing. Because if I'd have known then, I'd have surely messed something up trying to help the Lord along. You know, you can mess up trying to help the Lord.
That's true.
Because Abraham, I'm going to give you a son, and everybody going to be blessed. And Sarah said, "You know what? We've been waiting too long. Go on, take my hand, maiden." When Abraham went in that thing, and his thing been messed up since because they wanted to help the Lord out.
Yeah. I get it.
But even in that, God's still plan still works.
Yes, it does. Even in that.
Even in that, it still works because His word is what He said He gonna do. And those two and those things, it'll happen. Sometimes people and God will speak to you and tell you. And sometimes He give things to you, and then He puts you on hold. And then you wonder, why you tell me if you got me on hold? Let me, the Lord will tell you. And the way He puts you on hold and say, "Don't say nothing," He won't finish what He's telling you. He won't finish what you be trying to put the end on it yourself. And all you can do is just do what God, then the Lord will take you through places because He's getting you prepared and getting you ready for where He's taking. The Lord got me ready. I mean, prepared me. And here I am. And the devil's still trying to make, and I was thinking yesterday, I said, God knows what He's doing.
Oh, yes.
And you see things, you see how God be moving for you. And Brother Kelly, you see God moves for you.
Yeah.
And when He moves for you, if you think back, you can say, all this wrapped up in that okay.
All in that okay.
He said, you're going to be okay. And in that okay is all these things that God had wrapped up in that okay and told you, okay. And then there you go. It's going to be okay. And you take it and go on. God always don't just release and reveal every single thing.
Yeah.
But some things we have to get to a place after a while, you say, look at God.
It's going to be
So
okay.
now you'll be walking through, now you'll be saying, it's part of the okay.
It's part of the okay.
Yes. you know, and the Lord does it. He does it. He does, and He's done it for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to instill into my pastors, even though you don't see it, God already seen it and know it. And things are happening. You'll be this, you'll be that. God is doing it. And I share with them the things that I've been through and where I come from and how to entreat people, you know, and it's a blessing. My vision is to have stronger leaders and what God's preparing, because it's going to be some things that are taken away very quickly. And I keep saying quickly. You got me talking. Listen to this, Brother Kelly. When I began my fellowship prior to jurisdiction,
Yeah.
you have to have. I had one by the end of the fellowship. I had two strong, good. I felt were strong pastors. Right? They wasn't with nobody. I didn't go to nobody's jurisdiction. Say, hey, come with me. I'll do this for you. I'll make none of that. These two brothers, and I mention their name often. One was Pastor Cordell Porter, and his younger life, he was with Robert's Temple years ago. And the other one you certainly know, Pastor Marvin Nunn.
Okay. Yeah.
So after they had kind of, whatever it was, he came and was with me. Preacher, the Lord called both them men home. The Lord did it. They'd have never been gone away from here if it was up to me. But the Lord called them home. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute now. I'm about here, Lord, and I don't think I'm getting past and you call them home. But you know what? Their churches, their wives stayed when I became the overseer, their covering. And they are two of the strongest churches I have. Ministries, memberships, I mean support. And I'm trying to figure out, why did the Lord do this? And then my wife told me, she said, the Lord knew you was going to take care of them like they should be taken care of. And I said, you know what? This is the Lord's doing. And you never know. I ain't talking to them men thinking that they're going to be gone. And their church will still be here. And you can't make them stay. They on their own to do as they choose. And they decide to stay with us. And God has blessed us. So we never know. So what you do it to the best ability God has given you. Pour out. The vision I have is that all of these pastors and churches that I have will be strengthened and able to pour into others. Because everything else going to fall in line with it that's needed to be done. It will be done.
I love it.
Yeah, so I guess I'm going to be in the OK too.
You're going to be in the OK too. I love it. This has been an amazing episode of the CVMK Show. Yeah, this is my last question. I'm going to get you out of here. Where can the people, I'm going to sneak another question in. Where can the people support you, learn about the jurisdiction, follow if they wanted to connect? How can they reach you?
Okay, they can get me, of course, they can pull us up, Illinois Southwest Jurisdiction. You can go to, get me on Facebook, Redeem Enrichment Ministries, and you can reach me through that area. And my staff have other places they can get me, but if you go to Illinois Southwest, you'll be able to get all of that. And you can send and you can support. You want to be a blessing to us. You can certainly do that, and it will have all that information for you that you can support and be a blessing to our jurisdiction and to the work that we're doing. So if you go Illinois Southwest, you'll have all that jurisdiction. You'll have all that there for you. You can go to Redeem Enrichment Ministries and have all that information for you, and you can certainly get it done.
Y'all reach out, connect, support, follow them on all socials. There in the Joliet area, connect. If you want to keep seeing amazing leaders like we have on today, you know what you got to do. YouTube. One word, 4 letters, CVMK. And if you want the fitness stuff, it's CVMK Global. All social media is at either _CVMK Show or CVMK Global. You put it in, you're going to see it. If you see the gold bears, the podcast, if you see the black bears, the supplements, where it goes down. Here's my last question, Bishop. If you could see anybody on this show that you personally know and you could connect me with, who would it be and why?
Wow. That's a question.
That's a question.
That is a question. That is a question. But I know, man, I know a brother that's in Atlanta. There's a couple of them, but a brother Bishop in Atlanta.
All right.
And Bishop Leonard Chapel.
Okay.
And he's there in Atlanta as a bishop, and he would be a good guest because he has been through some things. He has lost some of his adult children to different things, and he has continued on, and doing, and he's been there. So he would be good, I think.
You think? Yeah. I appreciate that. If you can make the connection, he's more than welcome to be on the show. Bishop, it has been amazing. Thank you for being on here. Y'all.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Connect with Bishop Fears. Connect with the Illinois Southwest Jurisdiction. Connect with me on all social media at the CVMK Show or CVMK Global. Until next time, guys. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe now for more amazing content.